We really got to get on this marketing plan for the Indian River house. We need to get all of the videos set up, and we're gonna have 3 videos. We have to cut up the shorts, and we have to come up with the posting schedule. We should probably get with Ryan. Hey Ryan,
What's up?
You got a second?
Yeah, come in.
Because we got to get this content just right.
Talk to me.
So the new listing, Indian River Drive.
Yeah.
We need to sit down. You got a minute to sit down and actually go over everything that we need?
Yeah, we could, write everything down now, concrete it in, so that we get everything by the time it's ready to go on market.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, Jill, can you do me a favor? Can you grab some paper and pen for me, please? Awesome. Appreciate it, brother.
Make it set.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking to this entire thing, we kind of go by 3 different phases to this entire project.
Okay. First, we have to roll out. We have to determine the 3 videos that are going out.
I'm remembering first, before the videos though, we had a lot of stuff that happened in the past couple of weeks.
That's right.
Into the lead up.
So
when it comes to the entire marketing strategy,
yeah,
that lead up is obviously number 1. What were a couple of things that were involved in that process?
Well, we're talking about the final details of the house. So if we talk about before we were building content, is what's the status of the house? And right now, currently, developers finishing the last few things on the house. I talked to him the other day. He's tidying the last few nice, important items on the outside so we can take proper photo and proper video. So that's mulch, the cleaning of the pool, just exterior maintenance items.
Awesome.
And the biggest thing, of course, as you know, is the driveway. That's what's been holding us up.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be done next week, correct?
Tuesday.
Fantastic.
Tuesday. So hopefully it dries that next day so we can start getting in there and shooting. That's what's held us from taking those 6, at minimum, those outside photos.
Awesome. So once all of that is finished up, which seems like it's going to be early next week, then we could go all in on the content that's going to be created. Everything was done with Jessica for the interior, right? She put in all the furniture.
So if we get past the outside details that are finished and we then move on to, the staging. She did a just incredible job, as you saw on the inside. She did even more than I expected her to do. I mean, the entire place is staged beautifully. And as a matter of fact, she's open to shooting with us that day.
Fantastic.
So she can just kind of talk about the value and the importance of staging, which is, I think, a video we already shot and we're probably going to put out, right?
Yeah, I actually think it's out already.
So just that one, because it's so important, we shot that video on its own. So yeah, she's going to be part of it. She'll answer 2 or 3 questions. She asked me to, help her with a couple, 2, 3 questions that we could, set her up with, so that when she's on camera, she's super comfortable about shooting that. But that will be an important part of the final video as well.
Awesome. So that kind of leads us. That phase 1 is that lead up, all the interior, all the staging, all the outside things that need to be taken care of, like the mulch, like the driveway, like the cleaning of the pool.
Yep.
That kind of leads us into the next thing, which is the content phase.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the content phase, I want to list out all the major pieces. So our flagship pieces of content that are going to be put out, as well as what's going to come from that in certain short forms. So,
but before even the flagship, we preemptively already put out the getting this house ready video.
Yes.
Which seemed to do really well.
While it was still in a little bit of a construction phase.
There were still tarps down, and the place was still getting final details, installations, plumbing, fixtures, and all kinds of stuff. Even things like light bulbs and all that were final touches that were getting done. So we shot that one. That's a great understanding of what the house looks like prior to any marketing efforts.
Yeah. I liked that one because you just don't see it that much.
No.
Everyone shows the perfect version, but I feel like a lot of people appreciate, knowing all the work that it comes to build up to get to this state. I feel like that's pretty important, so I'm glad we got that.
Yeah.
So with that said, leading up to the next phase, the content phase, the pieces of content that I am personally excited about making is, well, one, one piece that specifically needed the MLS video.
Right. That's the most generic. That's the one that everybody and their grandmother does. I'm not too concerned about that. That's just the literally generic MLS video that needs to live on there so that everyone online sees that video, and it just can't be branded with who the listing broker is. That's all.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty plain Jane, but yeah. But the ones that we're more excited, of course, are the next ones.
Yeah. So simple enough to shoot. That's real easy. The one that we're going to be putting every bell and whistle into is going to be our full tour video that's going to live on our YouTube channel.
The flagship video where everything else is going to come off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll call that just the full tour video. Me as the cameraman, I want to follow you almost as if I am a possible buyer for this home. So I want you to walk me through it completely. Go through every minute detail to the appliances that are being used, because obviously people care about their appliances, especially in the kitchen. It's probably the most popular place in the home. If you don't have a beautiful kitchen, you don't have a beautiful house.
Yeah.
This kitchen in this home is just absolutely badass.
Yeah, those
So
double islands islands are
it's gorgeous.
crazy.
It's
Beautiful.
gorgeous. So we definitely have to show that off. I want you to go through everything, whether that ends up in the video or not. We'll determine that in the editing process of all this. But I want you to go through every single detail when it comes to this home. So that's going to be in the full tour. We're going to be following you as if we are a possible buyer getting a tour of this home. We're going to make sure that we're able to fly the drone up. So if we need permits for that, we will be sure to get those. What else? Jessica being in the video.
Yes.
That would be absolutely fantastic to give us a good perspective on why she went the route that she did, what she sees in this home as an interior designer that maybe we don't. So it'd be cool to get her ideology and perspective on that space, and maybe it'll connect with other potential buyers that really care about that interior design aspect.
Yeah, and other potential sellers and developers like our client currently that they really need to see the value of what that brings, because that was when we brought that to his attention in the beginning.
Our developer's attention.
The developer's attention, exactly. The developer's attention. He was not expecting that. That was not a line item that he had in his plan. So that was a surprise. But once I explained to him how important it was and how it would pay dividends in the sale of the home, he understood and he was completely on board, which is why we did the entire house. So that's an important aspect. And Jessica will probably touch on that.
That specifically, like we're our developer's paying tens of thousands of dollars for staging, but worth it.
100%.
Love it. And not only for that aspect of a buyer coming in and actually seeing the space, considering how much effort we're going to be putting into the video content, that staging inside is going to make all the difference. I know when I'm watching tour videos of $1 million listings, I almost practically ignore the ones that don't have furniture in it because I'm just looking at four walls. There's no real fun in that.
Yeah.
So that works out. I love that.
The staging is really just real quick. It serves two purposes. It's for the initial impact of someone walking physically in through the front door and getting this emotional reaction to how beautiful the place is. But secondly, it makes our job so much easier too, because now we've got this beautifully painted canvas that we get to work within, right? And so as we're shooting all of these multiple content strategies, it just makes it so much easier for us to do our job.
Love it, 100%. All right, so that's our main flagship video that we're going to put a ton of effort into. I know we already shot portions of it, so this is a multiple day shoot, grabbing as much content as we can. And then from that content, we're also going to do a massive amount of short form.
This is what I'm most excited about, because especially since now we've figured out some great tools in terms of expediting the way we edit this. Is just absolutely game changing. So even though we were already good at editing these videos into short format, now to have the power of the AI tools that we've now brought into our system and are using now is incredible, because it allows us to create the volume that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's like the biggest thing. Like most brokerages, most agents, they can't do the volume that's necessary to actually get the amount of leads that's necessary.
The volume and the specific targeted
100%.
essence of it, like the keywords and the descriptions and what platforms and all of that.
Thumbnail design, like
all of it.
We're on the same page with that. Yeah,
totally get
that kind of stuff. Not everyone can do. I'm very happy that we can do.
So anyway, you were saying the volume of the shorts.
So
short content.
I don't only want to cut up our flagship video into short form content. I want to actually shoot short form specific content inside that property. So individual appliances are getting their own videos so that people who are specifically interested in those appliances, they get a quick 45-second to 1 minute video explaining that particular thing. And what's cool about the short form, that what I found from doing this, if we were to put out, let's say, 35 individual short form videos pertaining to this property, each of those will get, hundreds, if not thousands of views. And the people watching that content, if they enjoy it, all that content funnels into our flagship video. And what we see a lot of times happen is that on our flagship video, that is where people actually convert. And when I say convert, I'm talking about them reaching out to us in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, it's constantly happening. It just happened the other day. I think I shared it with you.
Yeah.
The email that came through is it was a little bit out of context because I didn't know who this person was, and the way they started it was a little odd to me. But anyway, he was reaching out to us specifically because of the content he had already consumed about it. So he was already ready to work with us.
Yeah.
So that's what tells us and allows us to adjust if necessary, because I always ask the question, how'd you find out about us? And his answer was, well, I've been following your YouTube channel, and I know that you're the expert in that area, so I figured I'd call you.
Awesome.
Plus, he said you're from Chicago, and I'm from originally from Minnesota, so I figured we'd get along.
The Chicago video is why he reached out, right?
The Chicago video was one of the ones that he's reached out.
That's why we make them.
Yeah.
That is why we make them. All right, so tons of short form. We have our main flagship video and our MLS video that's going to be done. None of that matters unless we get a content distribution strategy set up.
Right, so that's next. So now we've got all this beautiful content. Where and when do we put it out?
So what I found is that different platforms have different amounts that they can, like, it's almost like you start posting and you feel like you're posting too much to the point where you're annoying. That is true, but the number is different with every single platform. So with Instagram, that number is around 2 posts a day. You could do 2 posts a day without becoming absolutely annoying to your audience. For YouTube, that number is 7. For LinkedIn, that number is 1. For TikTok, that number is around 3 to 4. So if we're able to curate this distribution strategy around those numbers, and we are at a surplus of short form content, because we're only putting short form content out on these platforms. And when I say platforms, I'm talking about YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. I want to post at least once every day on all of those platforms for at least 35 days minimum.
Right.
Ideally, we have a surplus of short form content so that we could go possibly post 2 times a day on these platforms. And then from there, we just start getting traction from certain videos, and that traction leads to other videos getting traction. And then from there, we have our content distribution strategy so that, we're covering as wide of a net as possible for this market that would be interested in a home like this, $3.2 million home. We want to make sure that we are covering all the bases on our content distribution, because a buyer might be on LinkedIn but not on Instagram.
Right.
It might be on Facebook but not YouTube. So we got to make sure that we're covering all of them, which is why I want to go really in depth on this strategy and making sure that we're covering every single platform every single day to the minimum. If we're able to do once a day, fantastic. I want to get to twice a day.
And I'm loving that Christian's on board, because now he can help us.
Yeah. Considering the volume that we're going to be doing, editing
to have another
content practically every day.
To have another team members.
Yeah,
is going to be very, very helpful.
That's why,
plus Gio's here to hand us paper and pen.
Yes,
so
that's
thankfully.
Thankfully. You may be in for a raise depending on, how fast you get the pens next time.
Exactly.
But I don't want to get your hopes up.
So what else? I think is that basically everything. We know where we stand with the house. We know the content we need to shoot. We know how we're going to cut it up and edit and create it. And then we also know how we're going to distribute it. What else?
This is a pretty good bird's eye view of our strategy. I could talk for hours about the different analytics that we're going to be focusing on Instagram to optimize things. But really, when it comes to the grand scheme of this entire marketing strategy, this is the main stuff that we're going to be focusing on.
Perfect. And the only other thing, and probably we'll have to sit down, this is probably a separate meeting altogether, but the other day I was sitting with somebody here, and I finally verbalized what I had in my head was that we're really leading with a marketing company thought process first versus a real estate brokerage, right? So we're creating the marketing above everything else. And then, yes, by the way, we also market and sell properties. But I mean, it's less about that, and it's more about this all-encompassing real estate marketing strategy, which only serves our clients. And so that's I know we talked about creating the websites also for our new developer client.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about.
It's almost like they're not even a client, they're a partner.
That's exactly what it is.
They are not only trusting us to sell their development properties, but also to help them grow as a company, because like I told you before, we are unintentionally specializing in partnering up with these development companies,
Right.
these boutique development companies, so that not only are they getting the best marketing and the best branding for their home, but their branding as a company is now able to start building up, which is why I think we keep getting
That's exactly
we
right.
keep speaking to them.
And that's exactly why we're partners instead of, you're right, we're partners more than we are a service provider or your listing agent.
Yeah.
All right, man, let's get to work.
Let's do it. You're fired.